I'm Angie Mar, and I'm the executive chef and owner of the Beatrice Inn in New York City.
Angie Mar is a total superstar. She is really kind of disrupting the steakhouse space in a super fascinating way.
My family's in the restaurant industry. My aunt was a very famous restaurateur in Seattle. And I never really had thought about cooking for a living, but I was in Sevilla, and I'll never forget it. I was eating this amazing Iberico pork shoulder, and that was kind of like the moment that changed it all for me. It was so perfect, and it was medium rare. You know, I just thought, why am I not cooking? I should be cooking. I decided to enroll in culinary school, and I moved to New York. I worked at Reynard for a long time in Brooklyn, and that's really where I learned how to butcher meat. And Pat LaFreda was a very, very dear friend of mine, and I kind of learned the rest from him.
The Beatrice Inn is a restaurant in New York with a lot of history. It's gone through a lot of permutations through the years, and when Angie Mar took it over, the restaurant didn't have the best reputation.
It had gotten a not so favorable review in the New York Times, and they had asked me about working there for 2 months, and finally I called Pat LaFreda, actually, and I said, you know, am I going to be crazy to take this job? And he said, yeah, you're absolutely going to be crazy to take that job, but you're also going to be crazy if you don't. He said, because if you can turn that restaurant around and make it something really special, it's going to make your career. You know, it was incredibly trying and exciting and scary all at once.
Under Angie's guidance, the Beatrice Inn just became the place that you want to be in New York City right now. It's probably one of the hottest restaurants in town.
I don't cook food that I'm not truly passionate about. I grew up eating meat. My father had a T-bone steak on our table every night at 6 o'clock. And, you know, I wake up thinking about it, I go to sleep thinking about it, and I don't really take what, you know, the trends are and forget that. It's really about what we're passionate about.
You are not having a light meal at the Beatrice Inn. There are very few vegetables on the menu, and it's like Noah's Ark in there. That's the meal that you're gonna have.
My food isn't about placating anyone. You know, I'm not gonna be the chef that's gonna, you know, throw 5 fish dishes on the menu just to placate the 10% of people that are gonna come into my restaurant. That's not who I am. I have 1 fish on my menu. It's whole, it's got his head and tail on, and it's covered in a beef fat crust. Like, you know, these are my passions. If there's no soul and if there's no story behind that dish, it's not good. You know, it's gotta have soul. So what I hope is I hope that people come into the Beatrice and they eat my food and they really feel the soul and the love that went into that dish. You know, I think that's what makes our food really great.